my brand new website, The Whole World is Talking, got hacked a bunch of times by one person, of course, someone who's been following the channel for a while, and hacked the last website I made as well. Now, this is going to always happen if I'm making websites and I don't think about security first and foremost. It is like, seventh, eighth priority when it comes to making something for me. Which it shouldn't be. That should be up front. Of course, I'm aware, but I'm trying out new things, and some of these new things keep biting me in the butt. So this website was built with supabase as the database. I was using Pusher as my WebSocket provider. And I even paid for Pusher. I paid for Pusher. Now, see, I would have just ran Socket.io locally, on the server or whatever, which is what I usually do. It's what I do on previous websites like Opega. But for The Whole World is Talking, I decided I want to try out vercel because I've never used it before. Now, there's some amazing features of vercel that I am kicking myself in the butt for not knowing this previously. Like, for example, you can set up a custom domain and get your security certificate all set up automatically. Oh my god, it's so fucking simple, and it's free. It's free for so long, and at the end of the day, most of the stuff I make is probably not going to get a gillion users, so I don't even have to worry about some of these things, ruining me or whatever. On vercel, I haven't even put in payment information. So at the very worst, the website gets torqued, and then I don't go broke because of usage or whatever, which is awesome. Previous websites I've used, Heroku, all those same types of services. Vercel's awesome. Anyways, got up and running, and Pusher was doing some stuff that really was aggravating me, and it wasn't working 100% correct anyways. And part of that was probably my fault. But I was already using supabase, which I found out later has this thing called real time, which is basically like WebSockets. You got to set it up a little different. It is using sockets, but it's maintaining and checking changes to the database and then sending signals to say, hey, this was changed, etc., etc. It's great. Also free for tons of usage compared to Pusher, which is so... I'm telling you, this is one of the most annoying things in the world. Anyway, so I got rid of using Pusher, and I brought in supabase real-time tracking of the database. Oh, but guess what? One thing that I didn't pay attention to, which I should have, is that when I was setting up my database and my tables and stuff like that, I had row-level security off. Mistake. Because when you're using supabase client-side, which I could move all calls to the server and then not reveal my API key, but when you're using it client-side, there's an anon key that has access to certain things. I had row-level security off on everything, and so Hackman himself was able to go and modify the table, and not in a completely egregious way. He definitely could have done way worse. Yeah. So he modified his user to have a verified badge and then pretended to be me, but then also pretend to do a bunch of other crap. That was annoying. Also, early on, Pusher was putting out everyone's emails in like the connected response on the WebSocket. Like one of the messages that would come through every time someone would connect would announce, everyone who's there with their email addresses if they had registered. Oh, how stupid. So that took some time to solve. It actually has now taken a few days because after I fixed a bunch of crap, I broke a bunch of crap. When I switched everything over to Supabase and was working tirelessly till like 3 a.m. one night to solve the problem, I broke a bunch of stuff when I was trying to secure the website. Later, I realized I still have a bunch of security issues, like the row level security was off. So I moved everything that mattered, all writes and updates, for example, out and to the server with a different API key so that that cannot be compromised or used in any stupid way. I believe at least I've solved about 90% of my issues. The bugs are gone, which is great. Impersonating me is gone. I've even added moderation to an extent because I want it to be a place that people can go and talk about literally anything without it being a place where people are immediately greeted with being called the N-word no matter what. I mean, that is just so ridiculous. So to summarize this last week, I made a chat room that anyone could talk in at any point. You can be anonymous or you can register and set a display name and you could talk. After a certain amount of time, after a certain amount of messages go through, it detects with ChatGPT's API what the conversation is about and then labels it as such. And then we get this running tally of the most popular topics so far. And I imagine that will grow and grow and grow. And maybe I will have a separate page for, like, you know, everything that's ever been talked about ever or something like that. I don't know. I plan on adding a few more features. I did add, you can click the message if you want to, like, tag somebody in the message. And if you get tagged, you see a little highlighted message, a little highlighted thing there, which is cool. I tried my very best to make it impossible to impersonate me. We'll see if I still get hacked again. I'll have to update you. And made it really obvious that I am who I say I am by adding a couple other little effects to my username. So that's kind of clear now. Yeah, I mean, that's basically everything that's happened. We got rid of Pusher. Need to cancel that subscription. I gotta remember to do that. And now it is running on Vercel using Supabase, SendGrid for emails, and that's pretty much it. We got Next.js with Tailwind. Trying to think of all the crap I've used. And my package JSON's quite small. Just a few packages in there, a few libraries. One especially for cutting out some of the terrible language when people leave messages. I've updated my table schema a little bit to make other things cooler and work better and faster and smoother. Oh, yeah, I've also added some limits, too. So, like, you can only type 120 characters. There's now a cool little progress bar to let you know how long that message is and how close you are to the limit. Usernames can no longer have symbols and emojis and things like that, but can have spaces, or can and also no spaces. So it's just letters and numbers. Display names right now at this current moment in time, other than my username, are not unique. So I'll probably add that in eventually as well. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to talk about on that. Come to the whole world is talking right now. Try to start up a conversation. Try to get whatever your conversation is, whatever topic you start up, to be one of the currently being talked about topics. And if talked about a ton, ends up being one of the most popular topics ever talked about on the website. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Ways I might be able to improve this. And yeah, that's it.